You already know the Strait of Hormuz controls nearly 20% of the world's oil. But there's something else running through that same narrow strip of water. And if it gets cut, it doesn't just affect fuel prices. It can disrupt the internet for billions of people. Because right now, at the bottom of the waters near the Strait of Hormuz, there are submarine fiber optic cables carrying huge portions of the world's data, connecting Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. And in 2026, for the first time, both major data choke points, the Red Sea, already volatile since 2023, and the Strait of Hormuz region, are under simultaneous pressure. This is the layer most people don't see, and it changes everything. Most people think the internet travels through satellites. It doesn't. Around 95% of all international data, every video call, every bank transaction, every message between continents, travels through physical cables lying on the ocean floor. There are more than 570 of these cable systems worldwide, stretching over 1.4 million kilometers. And they are not evenly distributed. They follow specific routes, choke points, just like oil. The most important of those routes, the one carrying the largest flow of data between Asia and Europe, passes through the Red Sea and near the Strait of Hormuz. You've heard about oil tankers. You've heard about pipeline bypasses, but almost nobody talks about the cables. 17 submarine cables run through the Red Sea alone, carrying roughly 30% of global internet traffic. Additional cables run through Omani waters near the Strait of Hormuz, carefully routed to avoid Iranian territory. But that proximity means the same geopolitical tensions still put them at risk, which means this narrow corridor is not just moving energy. It's moving information, and that creates a new kind of vulnerability. Please take a moment to subscribe and like the video. It really helps the channel. Because of long-standing tensions in the region, engineers designed these systems carefully, routing them through safer waters, balancing politics and engineering. And for years, it worked. But cables don't just need to be built. They need to be maintained and repaired. Some of the most critical systems in this region include the EPEG cable, the Europe-Persia Express Gateway, linking Europe to India through the Middle East, Simiwi 5, one of the longest submarine cable systems in the world, connecting Southeast Asia to Europe, and the 2 Africa Pearl system, designed to support connectivity for billions of users across Africa, South Asia, and the Gulf. These are not backup systems. They are primary infrastructure. Amazon, Microsoft, and Google have invested billions in data centers across the UAE and Saudi Arabia. Every piece of data flowing through those facilities depends on these cables. And in March 2026, Meta suspended work on extending one of these systems in the region. Not delayed, suspended, because building infrastructure in a conflict zone is no longer viable. This is not a hypothetical risk. We've already seen what happens. In 2024, a damaged cargo ship in the Red Sea began drifting, its anchor dragging across the seabed and severing multiple submarine cables. One ship, weeks of disruption. During that time, internet traffic had to be rerouted across alternative paths. And even though the internet didn't shut down, performance dropped. Users experienced slower speeds. Call centers in India and the UAE struggled with delays, and financial systems saw latency spikes. Then in 2025, it happened again.
2 crucial undersea cables linking Europe to West Asia and Asia have reportedly been cut.
Internet connectivity has been severely disrupted in several countries across South Asia and West Asia due to a series of undersea cable outages in the Red Sea.
Multiple cables were damaged and repairs stretched over several months. Because unlike pipelines, you can't just replace a cable overnight. Each cable carries massive dedicated capacity, and when it goes down, the system has to redistribute that load across already busy routes. That creates congestion, delay, and instability. And here's the deeper problem. Cable repair in this region is already limited, and in a conflict zone, even reaching damaged cables becomes extremely difficult. At the same time, the Red Sea, another major cable corridor, is also under threat. If both routes are disrupted at once, there is no simple fallback. This is what experts describe as a dual choke point risk. And it's one of the most disruptive scenarios the global internet can face. Because unlike oil, data systems depend on constant real-time flow. You can store oil, you can release reserves, but data has to move instantly. No country illustrates this risk more clearly than India. Around 60% of India's internet traffic flows westward, through the Arabian Sea, into the Red Sea, and onward to Europe. The rest flows east, which means the majority of India's digital connectivity depends on routes passing through active conflict zones. India has multiple submarine cable landing stations, but most connect into the same global corridors. When those corridors are disrupted, there are limited alternatives. That's why, in 2026, Indian authorities have already begun preparing contingency plans. And India isn't alone. The UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Qatar all depend heavily on these same routes. Some land-based alternatives exist, but they are slower, more expensive, and far more limited in capacity. Industry executives have already warned that these systems were never designed for a war scenario. And this isn't just a Middle East problem. Across the world, undersea cables are becoming strategic targets. In late 2024, cables in the Baltic Sea were damaged under suspicious circumstances. Investigations pointed toward possible sabotage. Military doctrines in several countries now consider submarine cables critical infrastructure, because disrupting them doesn't destroy cities. It disrupts systems, financial networks, cloud platforms, communication. Every year, there are hundreds of cable-related incidents globally. Most are accidental, but increasingly, some are not. This is a different kind of warfare. Quiet, indirect, but extremely effective. There are efforts to reduce this risk. New cable systems are being planned to bypass high-risk regions. Companies like Meta are investing in alternative global routes. Governments are beginning to treat cable infrastructure as a security priority. Even satellite systems, like low Earth orbit networks, are being explored as backup options. But even the best satellite networks offer only a fraction of the capacity of a single submarine cable. They are a lifeline, not a replacement. And these solutions take years to build. Because today, the primary data corridor between Asia and Europe still runs through the same narrow routes, the Red Sea and the Strait of Hormuz region. For years, we've thought of the Strait of Hormuz as an energy choke point, a place where oil flows through a narrow, vulnerable passage. But 2026 has revealed something bigger. It's not just an energy choke point. It's a data choke point. Oil and information, fuel and communication, both moving through the same geographic bottleneck. And while the world has spent decades building backup systems for oil, it has done far less to protect the infrastructure carrying its data. So the question is no longer just what happens if oil stops flowing. It's what happens if the cables are cut. Because if that happens, the impact won't be limited to one region. It will be global. Slower internet, disrupted financial systems, interrupted communication at the same time. Because while the world is watching the oil, the real vulnerability is lying silently on the ocean floor. And if those cables are cut, the disruption won't just be visible. It will be everywhere.